Well, it's official. They have officially cast a black man to play Professor Snape in the new Harry Potter TV series being produced by HBO. So we knew this has been rumored obviously for a long while now, and it's pretty well been confirmed for ages, but now you have the official confirmation that's kind of come in the form of the actor himself addressing it, I think on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, and just basically confirming it and saying how he's excited, blah, blah, blah. And you had other cast members and other people sharing their excitement too. So it's official. The actor Paapa Essiedu, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, has been officially cast as Snape in this TV series. So before I get into all this, like I should say, my excitement for this show, when they announced that they were making a Harry Potter TV series, I had about as much excitement as you could have, barring the fact of what is modern entertainment and what they do with so many of our modern IPs these days and how they're all down the toilet. Like that aside, the idea of a Harry Potter TV series where they adapt one season per book is like, blows my mind, was super excited. And, you know, it has the potential, honestly, to be maybe one of the biggest, if not the biggest show of all time. So that I was so excited for this, and I really want this to be great. I'm still going to watch it, don't get me wrong, but this news, like, I'm going to get into the explanation of it all, but simply put, this has put a massive dampener on it for me. I'm just going to be real here. It's put a dampener on it. And before everyone comes for me, this has nothing to do with race. This is all to do with identity politics and how I'm fed up with all this woke bullcrap that's in our films and TV shows now, and the meaning behind this and all of that. Now, there's always going to be race swaps, I feel like, in modern entertainment. I'm not going to say I've accepted that, but I'm almost there in the sense that you just can't, the studios are just so stupid, they feel they have to do it in some way, shape or form. If you had told me that, say, Professor Sprout or some other sort of like external character that has very little impact on the overall story, if you were to tell me one of them had been race swapped, I would be like, okay, this is stupid, but whatever, I can live with it. Snape is one of, if not the character you cannot do it with. There are so many implications for this in making this decision that I don't know they quite understand, or even worse, they do understand and they're playing into it. And what I mean by that is swapping the character of Snape from white to black now introduces all of these racial subtexts to the events of his life, his character throughout the books. He, straight away, first off, our main protagonist, Harry, from the get-go, when he first sees Snape, is suspicious of him the entire film, based in large part on his appearance. So we already have this situation where our main character, who are meant to be behind the most, is now suspicious of a black man for his appearance. This is ridiculous. But then furthermore onto that, you have obviously the background story between Snape and Harry's dad and Sirius, the Marauders, and how they treated Snape. They essentially lynched him in a flashback scene. You know, they use magic to basically hang him in the air. Make him a black man now and think about how that's going to look. You've got these white kids abusing and attacking a guy, and you could put it on them that they're doing it because he's black. On top of that, you also have now Lily, who didn't love Snape, even though Snape loved her, and you could say that she didn't do it because he was black. There's so many ways that this can be spun now, whether intentionally or unintentionally, but this is just an absolute disaster waiting to happen because of this decision to swap the color of Severus Snape. They don't understand the can of worms they've opened up here. I really don't. And if they do, it's even worse, because that makes them, party to what's about to happen to this character and how people are about to react to it. And to all the people out there, whether you're going to complain to me about this video or anyone else complaining about this casting or this race swap, firstly, the people who are saying, you know, why do you care about someone's race? Why do you care that they swapped his race? It doesn't matter. You don't get to do that. That's disingenuous. You don't get to do that because we're not the ones doing it in the first place. They are the ones doing it in the first place. They are the ones who think that it is a necessary decision to make to change the race of this character. The question should be, why do you think it is necessary to do it? Not why do we think it shouldn't happen. The onus is on you to explain why it needs to happen. Doesn't need to. I don't care if he's the greatest actor in the world. I don't care. There's roles for him. Kingsley Shacklebolt, is another character who could easily been played by him. Maybe someone a bit more older, but something along those lines. There are plenty of diverse characters in Harry Potter. Black people, Asian people, Indian people, white people. There's there's different creatures of all different species, all these different things. So much potential. There's strong female characters. Everything you can imagine under the sun in Harry Potter. You do not need to race swap anyone to have your diversity quota for this show. It's unnecessary, completely unnecessary. But they've chosen to do it, and it's put a massive dampener on the show because it shows where their intentions are at. It's not, they kept saying they want to adapt this thing as faithfully as possible, but they have just made a decision that contradicts that directly. Even if they choose to directly adapt word for word what happens in the books, it's still added this extra context now that can't be avoided with his race, with the color of his skin, and how that will create this subtext, this sort of political subtext to what's going on in the film. Because what would have previously just been a man being bullied now has to have these racial sort of undertones to it. And that's it. It's they've made this bed for themselves. It's a horrendous decision to make, but they've done it. And I'm still going to watch the show. I would still want it to be great even with this casting, but it's still going to have this dampener on it for me when it comes time to watch, because the intentions clearly aren't there. There's other ulterior motives to do with the show, to hijack it, to push their own messaging, whatever they want to do, and just using a massive and beloved IP to do so. And we've seen it countless times with Star Wars, with Marvel, Doctor Who, Star Trek, everything, you name it, Lord of the Rings. They've all been through this ringer to this point. You would think that they would learn this lesson by now, that this is unnecessary, and people are rejecting this stuff all over the place. But no, they're doubling down, I guess, and that's where we're at. So yeah, look, Severus Snape is being played by a black man now. I don't care about the man's race. I want everything to be accurate to the source material. I don't want to see Black Panther being played by a white guy, Blade being played by a white guy, Shang-Chi being played by a white guy, Storm from X-Men being played by a white, anything like that. I just want consistency. I want consistent and accurate adaptations of source material. That's it. And anyone saying that Snape wasn't described as white is full of crap. He was described many times using multiple different languages, being described as his skin turning like sour milk. And when at a moment of when he is about to be killed by Voldemort in Deathly Hallows, his skin is described as turning marble white. I don't know how much more descriptive you need to get, not to mention all the other descriptions about his nose, his greasy hair, the way he dressed, all these things, and even the illustrations by J.K. Rowling herself. So this is not the character to do it. You'd put him up there along the lines of the Weasley family and Hermione in terms of their characters and their storylines. Snape is up there with them in terms of the ones you cannot race swap without creating these racial undertones. Because if you did it with the Weasleys, all of a sudden you have the poorest family in the wizarding world being black. If you did it with Hermione, you have the whole slavery allegory with the Goblet of Fire with the house elves, and the whole slavery thing. So there's just so many undertones that could have been done with those other characters, and Snape is right up there with them in the ones that you cannot do it with. As I said, if you wanted to go ahead and do it with some other just minor character, whatever, I wouldn't like it, but I'd live with it. This one, though, I can't live with it. It's ridiculous, but I'll still watch it because I'm an idiot, and we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I've lost a lot of excitement for it, and that's where I stand. So that's my thoughts on this casting, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope I've articulated all well for you, everything I'm thinking and feeling about this. But if there's something I'm missing, I'd love to hear it. If you have a counterpoint to one of my points, I'd love to hear it. I'm open-minded if I can be convinced otherwise, but as it stands, I can't. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.